I'm back. I'm stronger than ever, but I'm going to need to be.
Hello, my name's Toby Gard, and welcome to the Player Tomb Raider Underworld special.
Thanks, Toby. Yes, we felt it only right to give Lara's latest our full attention. We visit developers Crystal Dynamics to find out exactly what they've done to gaming's greatest heroine and how they did it. The Olympic gymnasts who helped bring Lara to life attempt to woo me, as does the real Lara Croft.
Hello. Welcome to Croft Manor.
Oh, and we answer the question, what does death sound like? That's all in our Tomb Raider Underworld special.
The basis for the story was, from the beginning, was to explore some of the Norse mythology, and obviously we worked out what we could do in terms of what kind of artifact to go after and what kind of pieces from the myths that we could pick on in order to create the story. But also it was important for us to build in some of the motivations that Lara has, some of the reasons why she goes on these adventures, and try and tie up some of the story pieces that explain her past.
Alright, maybe Avalon is real, but just because some bad woman tells you your mother didn't die after all. I mean, look, I don't want to seem heartless, but this idea of your mom living in some Celtic underworld, it's a little bit mental, isn't it?
I have no illusions that my mother is holding court in some mythical paradise, Alistair. I only want the truth, whatever it may be.
The game starts out with Lara's mansion burning, and that is kind of what draws you in, trying to find out why the mansion is on fire.
And then it cuts to previously, about a week before, and then she's in the Mediterranean on just one of her normal expeditions, and she swims down. So you're scuba diving, you're doing underwater puzzles. She fights an incredible monster down there.
I hope it's as blind as it looks.
What she finds is Niflheim, which is one of the Norse underworlds.
Thor, the Norse god of thunder. Whatever are you doing down here in Niflheim?
And she discovers that there's a lot of truth behind the myth of Norse belief in the gods of Thor and Odin, and it sets her on a quest to go find Thor's hammer and all of the other artifacts associated with it.
It is the hero's journey, the classic legendary journey into the land of the dead to try and find your loved ones.
Very early on in pre-production, we came up with this philosophy that we call "What could Lara do?" And the idea was, what would you as a player expect Lara to be able to do given her strength, her fearlessness, her reason for living? And by using that guiding star, that gave us the ability to figure out what new moves to give her. We would be able to balance walk on a beam. I can balance walk on a beam, and you'd think that Lara could do that.
Yeah, defo. Anyways, this philosophy led the team to come up with a host of new moves for Lara.
She can climb up on top of poles and jump off them. She can free climb on walls with her handholds. She can shimmy along very thin ledges. When it comes to combat, she can split up her guns and shoot at multiple targets at the same time. She can generate adrenaline through attacking enemies that she could use to do these adrenaline headshot moves. She also has new weapons. In addition to her usual suite, she now has a tranquilizer gun for people that want to put animals to sleep rather than killing them all. She now has new gear items that she has at her disposal. She's got a sonar map. She has new capabilities to her grapple gun. So by coming up with all of these new abilities, we not only deliver on the expectations of what you would expect Lara to be able to do, but we made the game more intuitive so that people didn't have to memorize a lot of arbitrary game rules about what you could and could not do, where you could do it, where you couldn't do it.
But what isn't new is the fact that you'll be doing some good old block shifting to solve puzzles. Well, it wouldn't be Tomb Raider without it. And as ever, you'll be spending a lot of time trying to figure out just what it is Lara's on about.
Incredible. The carvings are clearly similar to early Germanic design, but this is far older than the 5th century, yet, strangely enough, more sophisticated.
That's funny, I was thinking that just the other day.
Early Germanic design, but this is
To create the animation for the cutscenes, the team rounded up a host of actors and stunt performers and headed to their local motion capture studio. In the director's chair was Lara's original creator, Toby Gard.
Let's see.
Action.
Rumour has it that to prepare for this super expensive shoot, Toby roped in anybody and everybody from the team to act out the scenes beforehand in the Crystal Dynamics store cupboard.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I don't tend to act out the scenes because I'm behind the camera, but the the animators do act it out. Yeah. And explosion. Yeah. Cool. And then that'll be it. Yeah. It depends who plays Lara on who is currently available during our little half-acting sessions, but it could be anyone. Blokes? Yeah, blokes too. Not obviously when we do the actual motion capture for the game, but when we're just trying to work out how the scene should play out, then yeah, we all muck in, and sometimes it could be anyone.
Toby's usual role is as an artist and story consultant. So, how was it putting down the pen and taking up the director's megaphone?
It's definitely a new experience being in a mocap studio and saying action and cut and all that kind of stuff. And it's a wrap. I was saying it's a wrap to people when I shouldn't be, because it means everyone can go home, right? And I'd say that a scene would look like it was good, and I'd go, it's a wrap, and everyone would go, what, really? And I'm, no, not really, no. I was confused, but there you go.
We knew we wanted a foundation of believability, of photorealism, and that involved going on location and doing some shooting.
Yes, it's a tough life for your environment designer, going to some of the world's most exotic locations, including Mexico's Mayan ruins, shooting reference photos to be used by the game's artists.
We really like these column structures, and we use them in the game. So you can climb and jump over structures like this. It's a good reference for my artists to use, just simple layouts that the Mayans would use. It just provided great ledges for Laura to jump and grab to. The Mayans very frequently use these cylindrical columns in their architecture as decoration. And we included that in our levels as well. We used this style archway whenever an arch was represented in Tomb Raider Underworld.
Yeah, for the sound of ripping flesh and breaking bones, I use cracking walnuts, ripping celery, slushing melons, and cabbage being torn in half. This sound is actually made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. about almost 20 layers. Each of them contributes to the whole. Here's an individual sound. Just that. A little pop. Here's something a little beefier. This is a cracking coconut. Coconut shell being smashed with a wrench, actually. Now you're going to hear the sound of a lot of those different elements I played you mixed together. That sound I use often when Laura is what we call ragdolling, where she's bouncing off jagged cliff, you know, at the bottom of a jagged cliff, when she falls and dies.
Well, that's one way to end a feature. Join us after the break when the real Lara Croft reveals her jewels to me. Back to